Hello everyone, welcome back to the White One Auto YouTube channel, and what we have in here today is a 2001 GMC Yukon. It was towed in because the vehicle will not stay running.
Now first off, you can see we got our expert level car audio ground right here. Red top battery. These battery terminals are not this tight. But doing my visual inspection, which I like to do, I noticed one thing. So this is our alternator right here. And you see our alternator, it has a charge wire going back here. See, it's going there, going down into that grommet in the firewall. But there's no charge cable running back from our alternator back to our battery here. So that there is an issue because the customer told me the battery was good and we will check it. But if the alternator doesn't have a way to get power back to the main battery, then it'll never recharge this battery. So it won't supply power to the vehicle electrical system. So let's see if there's still a bunch of batteries hooked up here in the trunk of this thing. Now, I don't see anything back here. Everything looks like it must have been disconnected. So that is good. We'll take a little bit deeper dive to ensure. But the first thing I want to do is test this battery. So this is a red top battery. It says it has, how many cold cranking amps is it supposed to have? 800 cold cranking amps. So let's get our snap-on battery tester and get this thing going. What we're gonna do is do a full system test. That's what that one is for. So it is a top post battery, automotive, spiral. It was 800, I believe. So now it is above. So that's testing. It says good, recharge. Now next, it wants us to start the engine. So let's go ahead and start the engine. So we have started the engine. It says that is normal. It is a gasoline. So when it shows that, it's saying that it's seeing no output from the alternator at all. So as I suspected, by that cable not being attached, we aren't getting any output. So no voltage necessary, no voltage present. So that is a problem. So we need to make a cable. Hold on, let me shut this off. So what our first step is gonna be is to make a one-aught cable to go from our alternator charge port back over here to our battery. And then we will correct these battery terminals here and make that a good connection. And then we will retest and see how everything comes out. So instead of making a whole new cable, what I'm gonna do is take this existing cable that runs all the way to down over here, this existing power cable, and then just recrimp the ends and mount it down here below at the battery. So that'll save them a lot of money, where all they got to do is pay for just some cable ends. Okay, so we've made our new battery cable in. See, it's running from our alternator down there, and it is hooked up on our battery terminal right there. So this customer doesn't have a ton of money, so this is a 3/8 by 16 bolt that we put in there and then put a nut on it to secure it down. and we were able to get this ground going better. So now let's back out and let's run our test again. So we'll do a full system test. We'll test the battery. Battery passes again. Now next, says start engine. Let us go ahead and start engine. Engine is started. Says normal. Now you see how it says turn off all the loads? So that is good. So we're gonna go ahead and turn off all our headlights and everything, which we can't turn it off, but we still should be able to run the test. So now we'll raise the engine RPM. So that's not good, so we're gonna let it idle. It's asked us to turn the blower, the high beams. Let us do that. So it should be. So we got our high beam indicator on. Let's turn our blower on. Have our blower on. Wants us to rev it again. Telling us to turn off our loads. Turn our high beams off. Excuse me. So it is past our alternator test. So this thing is good. So we'll go ahead and print this one out. And then we're gonna let it run and take it for a drive and see how it acts. And then we'll also need to check the oil level. But if you don't have a power cable coming from your alternator back to your battery, it'll never charge the battery back up. So we'll let this thing run and then confirm that everything is okay. And you can see this is the time of our second test. And this was the time of our first test, same date. So we're looking pretty good there. So we've had our GMC running for a little while. Let's see if it set any codes. So it does have a generator code in there, and this thing has an aftermarket generator on it. So that's most likely the reason for that. But let's take a look at our charging system voltage and our data. So we'll go engine data. So let's go down here. Should be voltage someplace. Like ignition voltage will give us battery voltage. So we're at 14.2, and this thing's been running for how long? So engine runtime, so it's right now been running for 26 minutes and we have 14.2 volts. If that alternator wasn't charging correctly, it would have cut off by now. But like I say, the reason why it's gonna have that generator code in it is due to this, because those sound systems, somebody put a higher amperage alternator in here. You see they've got this thing wired up and it is producing more than battery voltage. So we can see, so we'll just power on our tool here. So we'll power on our tool. And we'll see it should be, so it's reading 14.5 volts with it running. So that is more than enough to keep this thing going. It's actually a little bit too high, but if they want to correct that, we have to put the correct alternator on here and wire it back in correctly. So, because this thing is pretty much running at full tilt because they had all that aftermarket sound equipment in here.